In this video, we're going to set up the Rollbar and Okta integration. This shows that you can bring Okta's world-class authentication and secure access management to Rollbar. First, what are some of the benefits? One, there's going to be a reduction in administrative effort. So no more questions or emails about getting access to Rollbar, and no more tasks when somebody leaves your organization to remove their access to Rollbar either. And this is going to bring an increase in security. Making sure that only the right people have access to your Rollbar account data is critical, and having this integration automates that security for you. And what are some of the requirements? Well, one, you're going to need an existing Rollbar account with provisioning enabled. And two, you're going to need an Okta account, and you'll need admin access to set up this integration. Now we're going to walk through a setup demo in 5 minutes or less. First, we're going to go to Okta and select Applications. And we're going to browse the app catalog. Here we can look for Rollbar and add the application. Under account name, we're going to put our Rollbar account name. And for me, it's called Okta Demo. Next, for the sign-on method, we'll select Saml 2.0. And for username format, we'll select email. Before we leave this page, make sure you click this button for identity provider metadata, and we will copy this to our clipboard. We'll use it later when we set the integration up in Rollbar. Now we can hit done. Now that we have the app set up, we're going to go over to Rollbar. In our account settings, we're going to click Identity Provider, select Okta, and paste that metadata here. Now that we have it set up, we see the option to require login via Saml Identity Provider. In this case, I'm going to leave it turned off for the demo. But you may want to consider turning it on. This will require any user in order to access your Rollbar account to authenticate via Okta. So it's a great security feature. Here we need this token, and we need to select Enable User and Team Provisioning and hit Save. Now we can jump back over to Okta, click on Provisioning, and configure the API integration. We'll enable the API integration and put in that token. Here we can test the API credentials. Looks like we were verified successfully, so we can hit Save. Now, just one last bit, we need to click Edit, and we need to enable some of these features here. So this will allow Okta to create users in Rollbar, update user attributes, and then deactivate users. So when they leave your Okta organization, their users in Rollbar will be deactivated as well. Now we can set up a push group. By setting up this push group, it'll enable Okta to create actual teams that map to groups in Okta. So here we can look up our team. It's called devs, and hit save. So we see the push status is pushing, and now it says active. So if we go back over to Rollbar and click on teams, we see we have a new team set up called devs. It says managed by identity provider. This means that Okta is the one who created it and will update user access automatically. I see 0 members have been added to this team. That's because so far we've only set up Okta to push groups, but not actual users yet. We can do that by going over to Okta. We can hit Assignments, Assign to Groups. Now we see devs. We can click Assign and hit Done. So that's working. If we go over to our team and click on it, we should see now that user that's in that Okta group is now provisioned in Rollbar. Now, what happens if we go to our directory, go into our groups, and add a user to this group? So we can add another user. This one is going to be called 701, and hit save. So they're being added. It may take just a second, but if we go over to our team, we see we only have one so far. If we refresh the page, we now have that second user has already been provisioned into this account. Now what happens if that user actually departs your organization or no longer should have access to Rollbar? That's simple. All we have to do is go to that user, and in this case we'll just deactivate. We can also delete that user. If we go back into Rollbar and refresh this page, we see that user has been deactivated as well. Now we see in about 4 minutes or less, you can set up the Okta integration in Rollbar, saving you hours of administration effort down the road. More importantly, your account will be secure and safe. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to your account manager or support@rollbar.com.